This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted for the first time to be joined by Lisa Whiteside. Lisa, you're back after a long absence. I can tell by the smile on your face you're looking forward to it. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't wait to get back in that ring. Many people probably would have given up with things that were thrown at me, but the joy of obviously I've got my little boy now. I'm never going to change that. He's my little world title, and my ultimate goal is to get a world title. To thank him for being here and making my world extra special.
What's motherhood been like? Because you've had that absence out of the ring. This is your first fight in 3 years. But I suppose as becoming a mother, does that give you that extra motivation? Because, like you just mentioned there, it means the world to you. Now you probably want to do something for him and show him, look what mum's done, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly that. It's given me so much more willpower and drive, and getting up every day is not an issue at all, and getting them runs done. And don't get me wrong, it's a bit harder, but I've got the help of my mum, and my mum comes in the morning so I can get my runs done, and then we work around my husband's work at shift work, so then I go training after that. So with Mick, my coach, we just work it around Jensen, so it's fantastic that I can still train full time but also be a full time mum, so it's extra special. And do you know what I mean? I can't not win for him, so it's definitely given me that more motivation.
Now you would have been back a bit sooner, but I believe you have had some stumbling blocks on the way. Did you have a bit of an injury coming up?
Yeah, last year I was literally about to be coming back and fighting possibly August time, and I was sparring, didn't even connect, went to throw a left hook to the body and shoulder went. I knew I'd pulled something, the feeling. I've had shoulder operation before in the past when I was on GB, but I couldn't lift my arm, I just knew. So yeah, unfortunately I got a tear of the rotator cuff, one of the main tendons, so nasty injury. But got operated on in October time and just thought, you know what, I'll get back there, and rebuilt it up. Got a new S&C coach now, same as who Tyson Fury has, Christian Blacklock.
Oh yeah, Christian.
Yeah. Christian's top guy, isn't he? And he's worked for me since, obviously, me rehabbing my shoulder and getting me strong, and it's probably the strongest I've ever been. I feel on top form with all my strength and conditioning, and obviously Mick, my coach, with my fitness, my sparring. The amount of rounds I've done sparring with girls of all different weights. Do you know what I mean? I've sparred girls like Terry Harper, I've sparred Terry, I've sparred obviously lighter girls, I've sparred young Chloe Watson, obviously she's fast and sharp, isn't she? And it's just good to get different experiences, and I felt great in there. So the worry, I'm always going to have that in my back of my mind, what about the ring rust, have I still got it? But the amount of rounds I've done sparring and the different oppositions I've had in that sparring, Molly McCann, sparred her a few weeks back. Yeah,
what's Molly like? She's a firecracker, isn't she?
She's ace, I love her to bits. We have a right good laugh. We had a right good hard 10 rounds. First few rounds, she clocked me with a beautiful shot over the top.
What a spinning elbow, wasn't it?
I know, I was worried, and got me with a beautiful shot right on my bone here, and a right shiner after it. But then, obviously, as the rounds went on, I'm pretty relentless and just don't stop, and she's like, bloody hell, Lee. So, we have a right good laugh, good spar, we'll give it to each other, and then a good hug at the end. And it was good to be able to push each other ready for, obviously she fought last week and I'm fighting this week, so definitely do that again for her next camp and mine.
Well, let's talk about her since you've brought her up, because I didn't know you'd sparred at all, so it's a bit of a curveball, but I'm pleased because she's just had an unbelievable win in the UFC. What do you make of Molly and obviously Paddy the Baddy and what they're doing on that side of the fence, still in combat sports, but it's their rise has been incredible, hasn't it? And Molly, I've met her on a couple of occasions, she's absolutely brilliant. What do you make of her?
I just think she's just a genuine person, do you know what I mean? And she just tells you as it is, she's dead truthful. Similar as in that we've both lost our parents. She lost her dad, I've lost my dad, so we've both got that fire and that drive to make them proud looking down on us. And I think you can just see that, the genuine person in her. I don't think, no matter how, look at her now, she's huge, isn't she?
Yeah.
But I'll give her a text and say well done, and she'll message back. It's it's lovely, and it's just that you've got that respect for being a sports person each, and what you go through and your weight making and things like that. So I think even I think she's just going to grow and grow and grow, and obviously Paddy, just the two of them as a duo, it's just making it massive, and massive for Liverpool, isn't it now? Like UFC, it's all about people from Liverpool, so it's brilliant.
It is, it certainly is. Well, you mentioned there just before that about you were worried about the ring rust, but if you're sparring the likes of Chloe Watson, who's tipped to become, superstar, potential world champion, Terry Harper, former world champion, Molly, Meatball Molly, you've had sort of such a mixed bag there. Does that give you the confidence to, going into Saturday knowing that you've had that rather than a camp where you're unsure or you're sparring certain, other individuals?
That's exactly it. Obviously, it's down to Mick to sort my sparring out, but, I've come away from each and every spar I've done happy and comfortable, and it's been absolutely brilliant. So to know that I've got them rounds, and like you say, for my opponent, we got offered a few different ones, and there was some I was like, it's pointless because I want to have someone to push me. And
I was going to come on to this, sorry to cut you off. You've turned down fights, haven't you? You've turned down lesser opponents, so you've not come back. I want to make that point just for a knockover opponent to get yourself back into it. I'll just knock my disco alarm off. Someone at home's ringing. But yeah, you've not come just for an easy tick-over fight. You want to get thrown straight into the fire.
Yeah, exactly. My opponent that they've then got me she's had like 40 pro fights and she's never been stopped, and she's been in with like the current world champions at Super Bantam and other world champions, and she's also, I believe, like she's stopped some girls that have had unbeaten records. So I don't actually know anything about her myself. I don't ever go and look at footage or anything like that. I just leave it to the boss, leave it to Mick to give me the instructions, and that's what I've done. And it keeps me switched on. I don't want to be going in there complacent, and I'm far from that. The nerves will be there, which I think is a good thing. Focus them, keep focused, and just hopefully, I can put on a good performance, and there isn't that, 3 years out is going to cause an issue, because I've grafted in these quite a long camp awaiting that fight date. It's been a bit up in the air, so to obviously get onto such a good show as well, it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, and you've got obviously the support of S-Jam. You signed with Probellum, so there's going to be a lot of doors out hopefully open for you, providing everything goes well for you Saturday night. You're talking about weights, and I've seen you said you can move up and down depending on what it is. A lot of good fights to be had at bantamweight. You've got Ebony Bridges, world champion, Dina Thorson, some huge names out there. But if you were to choose now, what do you want? Like at this stage, you've had only a few fights in yourself, but you had the time out the ring. But if you could outline your next sort of 12 months, what would be ideal for you?
Either bantam or super bantam would be absolutely fine. I'm comfortably made this weight, not an issue at all. So, but I know I'm strong enough for this weight. When I first started out boxing, I won world and European medals as an amateur at featherweight, and I were hurting girls at that weight, and I'm glad I'm not back at flyweight. And I wasn't, don't get me wrong, I made the weight and I was still strong at that weight, but you're depleting your body down to the to the absolute, so to feel comfortable and it's just more enjoyable in the weight making side of things, and feel like strongest I feel like I've been punching, like you say, my strength and conditioning, everything's like on top form with this weight. As in, which road do I want to go? I will leave that to S-Jam and Probellum, because I think they will get me a route to try and fast track me the best way possible to get one of those titles, and I'm happy with whoever they put in front of me. It's not being, I don't want to be big-headed, but I don't want to be given an easy fight, and if you want to become a world champion, then you're going to have to beat the best, aren't you? So I'm happy for whichever route I go, and just tell me who I'm fighting and what day, and I'll be there.
That's a brilliant attitude. You mentioned just off camera about you getting your hair braided by you and your friend Savannah Marshall giving you a bit of advice on it, but give me your take on her mega fight that's coming up. It's an unbelievably good fight. Clarissa Shields, the GOAT 2 division, undisputed, and Savannah Marshall, who's beat her in the amateurs, punches like a mule, and as well as very underrated boxing ability, because everyone talks about her power all the time, but people sometimes I don't think know how good a boxer she is. Talk to me about that fight and what you think happens in that fight.
Well, I was there in 2012 at the Worlds when she beat her. I was there at featherweight where I got a world bronze, and then obviously Sav become world champion on her 21st birthday. So that's how we celebrated, and she beat Clarissa out there comfortably by purely using a jab. I think back in the day then, Sav didn't really completely believe in her own power and her strength, her self-belief, where I think now you can see that in her, and it's lovely to see that she believes in herself, and I can only see that I feel like Sav will stop her with her power. But again, like you said, she's got amazing boxing ability, a skill set. You know, whatever Clarissa tries to throw at her, Sav will have the answer. And I think it's going to be more Clarissa worrying about what Sav's going to do to her, because it's all right if she's going to come in with all them shots and try and get her, and it's only one shot off Sav, isn't it? And it's good night. So don't get me wrong. Clarissa, she is, you know, she's a double Olympic champion, she's a multi-weight world champion. You know, it's going to be a tough fight, and I think it's going to be who gets the tactics right on the night. But I personally believe, and I'm going to be there ringside cheering her on, I believe Sav will become unified champion of the world.
Yeah, I'll be there that night too. I honestly can't wait for that fight. Look, before we sign off, can you tell everybody what we can expect from you Saturday night?
Yeah, just obviously, as if people know me, I'm an aggressive, come forward boxer, but I can counter box as well. I'm just, I've been working on a lot of things when I've been recovering from my injury, so little strings to my bow, but I'll just gonna obviously put on the fight as much as I can to show you what I'm about and show you my strengths, and hope for a good performance.
Well, Lisa, look, thanks for giving your time and talking to Into Boxing. We'll catch up with you after fight night, and we wish you all the best.
Oh, cheers, thanks very much.
Anytime.